about to give her speech, and there is indeed 3 people in the room with her. You got me, her mother, and her sister. So Heather, whenever you're ready to begin, you may do so.
Living is like tearing through a museum. Not until later do you really start absorbing what you saw, thinking about it, looking it up in a book, and remembering because you can't take it all in at once. This is a quote from one of the most famous fashion and movie icons of all time, Audrey Hepburn. Hepburn's early life was not easy. She endured her parents getting divorced, German Nazis occupying the Netherlands, where she was living with her mother and 2 half-brothers at the time, and malnutrition. Despite all these setbacks, she became a household name when she launched her modeling and acting career. In her later years, she devoted her time to UNICEF. Audrey Hepburn was born near Brussels on May 4, 1929. In 1935, at the age of 6, her parents divorced, an event that was very traumatizing for Hepburn. She has stated that this was the most traumatizing event of her life. When World War II began in 1939, Hepburn's mother decided to move back to the Netherlands, her native country, with Audrey and her 2 half-brothers from her mother's first marriage. Netherlands was a neutral country, which Hepburn's mother believed would be the safest place for them to live. Unfortunately, this proved to be untrue. Just a year later, German forces invaded. During this time, Hepburn changed her name to Ada von Heemstra to avoid being targeted as English, and also attended the Arnhem Conservatory where she learned ballet. She would often dance to raise money for the Dutch resistance. During 1944, her life became even harder when the Germans took most of the Dutch's rations. When they were finally liberated in 1945, Hepburn was severely malnourished. She was 16, had a height of 5'6", and only weighed 88 pounds. Wow. A Dutch soldier gave her 7 chocolate bars when they rescued her. She devoured them instantly. From that point on, she had a little chocolate every evening to remind her of the joy she felt at that moment of liberation. Her family moved to London after the end of the war, where she continued her ballet education. Hepburn initially wanted to be a prima ballerina, but instead started to focus on modeling and acting roles because they paid more. Her mother did not make much money at the time, so she took small roles in whatever she could get a part in. From the early 1950s until the late 70s, Hepburn starred in numerous films and won many awards. She retired from the screens and focused the rest of her time to UNICEF. Hepburn felt an instant connection with the children she helped in the organization. She knew just how these children felt, since she had experienced it firsthand. She knew what a big impact UNICEF and other aid organizations had on areas that were war-torn and lacking resources. Around 1988, she became an ambassador for UNICEF and visited Africa. At a visit to an Ethiopian camp, she stated that I have a broken heart. I feel desperate. I can't stand the idea that 2 million people are in imminent danger of starving to death, many of them children, and not because there isn't tons of food sitting in the northern port of Shoa. Hepburn gave as many as 15 interviews a day, spreading awareness about emergency operations projects. Some of the notable things Hepburn did on her UNICEF trips were visiting a polio vaccine clinic in Turkey, working on projects to provide drinking water in Guatemala and Honduras, and working in camps for displaced children in Sudan. When she wasn't on trips, she testified before the U.S. Congress, took part in the World Summit for Children, participated in benefit concerts, and launched UNICEF's State of the World's Children Reports. In 1992, she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That same year, even though she was battling colon cancer, she continued to travel on behalf of UNICEF. She passed away on January 20th, 1993. Audrey Hepburn has made a huge impact on everything she touched during her lifetime. From her iconic movies, her modeling career, and her role helping children across the world, she was truly an inspiration. She is still a household name to this day and continues to inspire thousands of people. Hepburn shows us all that you can make the best of horrible circumstances if you have the drive and desire.
Good job. That was nice.